Exodus 18. And so it was on the next day that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood before Moses from morning until evening. So when Moses' father-in-law, saw all that he did for the people, he said, "What is this thing that you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit, and all the people stand before you from morning until evening?" That's a long time. And Moses said to his father-in-law, "Because the people come to me to inquire of God. When they have a difficulty, they come to me, and I judge between one and another, and I make known the statutes of God and his laws." This is the position that judges, that presidents, that kings have in a world. They have the power to institute laws and to judge whether somebody's guilty or innocent. And I mean, that's the power that these people have. And we're living in a world, in a society, United States of America, where our voices can be heard. There are countries where you're not allowed to speak at all. Let your voice be heard. Verse 17. So Moses' father-in-law said to him, "The thing that you do is not good. Both you and these people who are with you will surely wear yourselves out. For this thing is too much for you. You are not able to perform it by yourself. Listen now to my voice. I will give you counsel, and God will be with you. Stand before God for the people so that you may bring the difficulties of God. And you shall teach them the statutes and the laws, and show them the way in which they must walk and the work they must do. Moreover, you shall select from all the people able men, such as who fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens." Although these guys were rulers, this was not in any way, shape, or form, this was not a commandment for Israel now to become apathetic and say, "All right, since we have kings and judges now, let's just sit back and let them rule everything and we'll never complain about anything." No, these guys got to be held accountable. And there were times in scripture where Israel became wicked. They were not following these rules here. These men that were placed in charge later on in later generations were not men of truth, hating covetousness, able men that feared God. They became wicked. Did Israel now stop complaining and stop protesting? No. So again, to the point where we said before, people are saying, "Oh, we live in Babylon, a wicked country." So what? Israel became wicked sometimes. That doesn't stop us from speaking out against injustice. Where we at? Moreover, you shall select them, verse 21. Moreover, you shall select them from all the people, able men. I read that. Verse 22. And let them judge the people at all times. Then it will be that every great matter they shall bring to you. See, it's assumed that matters will, for the rest of time, will constantly be brought to leaders. That's normal. If this happens in a heavenly kingdom way, why wouldn't it happen on an earthly kingdom way? If we bring our petitions to Yahuwah in prayer, why wouldn't that principle exist on an earthly sense with kings and rulers on the earth? Shouldn't we petitioning our governments, our presidents, our leaders, despite the fact that they're wicked? Actually, more of a reason why we should be petitioning and participating and rallying and protesting, because they're wicked and because they're passing wicked laws. So the voices of Bible believers should be heard all over the United States of America. I blame us believers, me included, because I had this belief. And after having my son on January 2020, my life was changed. After this boy was born, after Shema Yisrael Serrano was born, I made a declaration against vaccines, against corruption in government, that I'm going to get involved. For the last two administrations, I did not want to vote. I did not register to vote. I didn't want to be part of voting. I didn't want to write letters. I didn't want to do anything because I thought it's all Babylon. It's left ring, white ring, same bird. oh, it's all going down to hell anyway. I'm waiting for Yahusha to come back. That was the apathetic attitude and wicked attitude that I had on this matter. Did I ever have an intellectual conversation with somebody? Did I ever hear a sermon about why I should vote? I never did. I never had that opposition. But here I am before you, bringing you opposition to your apathetic mentality. And I hope that you're getting convicted and that you're not continuing to find loopholes and excuses to justify why you shouldn't participate in advocating for justice, using your vote, using your voice to potentially change laws and statutes in our country of the United States of America for good and not for evil. Your silence is guilt. Your silence is guilt. Your silence is participation in the agenda to continue to pass wicked laws in the United States of America. Your silence is part of that progress. Verse 23, if you do this thing and God so commands you, then you will be able to endure, and all this people will also go to their place in peace. Verse 24, so Moses heeded the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. Yahuwah never rebuked this. Yahuwah never stepped in and rebuked that his father-in-law was speaking wickedness. He's getting too political, because this is political. Don't get it twisted. This is all political verbiage right now. Instituting lawyers, instituting judges, heads of people to take care of matters of what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad. That is a political position. It's not just political, but it is political. If you do this thing and God so commands you, then you will be able to endure. Anyway, so he established these men, verse 25, and Moses chose able men out of all Israel, made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, rulers of tens. So they judged the people at all times. The hard cases they brought to Moses, but they judged every small case themselves.